kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala. Shabbat Shalom, everybody, page 128. Boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala. Words at the bottom of the page. Hachamame Roshaila Notni Stalka, Bo Venetze Likrat Shabbat Hamalka. Hachamame Roshaila Notni Stalka, Bo Venetze Likrat Shabbat Hamalka. Boi kala, sing with me. Boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbos.
Shabbos, good evening. Welcome to Congregation Dor Tamid and our Friday evening Kabbalat Shabbat worship service. It is wonderful to be here with all of you in our sanctuary, as well as to welcome all of you who are joining us through our online community. We've come to Shabbat. Come to the end of this week. We've come to this moment in time where we have not only the ability, but the literal God-given opportunity to take a step back, to reflect on the week that was, to put aside all of the schmutz that was in this past week, and to enter into this moment searching for that which is good and high and holy. And so as we take a moment to enter into the Shabbat, I'm going to ask everyone just to take that moment. Close your eyes if you'd like to, and take that cleansing breath, breathing in all that is high and good and holy, and breathing out all that you need to get rid of from the past week. We enter into this Shabbat together to support one another, to be together in community, to be with those who are walking through the valley of the shadow, to offer collective prayers of healing for those in our immediate and broader circles, to celebrate this gift of time and this Shabbat to mark our annual Sisterhood Shabbat, and through their encouragement to speak tonight about breast cancer prevention, awareness, and treatment. So we enter into the Shabbat praying for shalom, not only peace, but also shleimut, wholeness, love, health. We open our hearts to the hearts of the world, singing Yedid Nefesh, page 128.
Yedid Nefesh, Avarachaman, Avarachaman. Meshoch Avdecha, El Ritzonecha, El Ritzonecha. Yedid Nefesh, Avarachaman, Avarachaman. Meshoch Avdecha, El Ritzonecha, El Ritzonecha. Yarutz Avdecha, Kemo Ayal Yishtachave, El Muladarecha. Yedid Nefesh, Avarachaman, Avarachaman. Meshach Avdecha, El Ritzonecha, El Ritzonecha.
We turn now in our prayer books to page 120 as we prepare to kindle our Sabbath lights, bringing light into creation. And to kindle our lights tonight, I'd like to invite any member of the community who is currently being treated for or has survived a treatment for breast cancer, to come to the bima and kindle our Sabbath lights. If you'd like to.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Page 127, we read responsively at the top of the page. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain.
On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others.
On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal.
So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We turn now to the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, entering into this series of liturgical moments that ask us to look back on the previous week, thinking about the highs and the lows as we prepare to enter into Shabbat. We begin by singing joyously to God, Lechu Niranena, Psalm 95.
Lechu niranena l'Adonai, nariya letzor yishenu, nekadma fana b'toda, bismirot nariya lo. Page 131. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash.
Page 133, Psalm 98. Mizmor, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Ki niflaot asa, Hoshia lo, Yemino, Uzroa, Kodsho. A psalm. Sing to Adonai a new song, for God has worked wonders. God's right hand, God's holy arm, has won God victory. Adonai has manifested God's victory, has displayed God's triumph in the sight of the nations. God was mindful of God's steadfast love and faithfulness toward the house of Israel. All the ends of the earth beheld the victory of our God. Hariu l'Adonai kol haaretz, hitzchu v'ranenu v'zameru. Together, raise a shout to Adonai, all the earth. break into joyous songs of praise. We turn now to page 142. As we turn now to these words of Shalom Aleichem, welcoming in the angels of Shabbat, saying hello to them, asking them to grant us a blessing as we bless them as well, and then bidding them farewell with peace until next Shabbat returns.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ni L'Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem L'Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Now that we have welcomed one another and welcomed in Shabbat, we prepare to turn to the section of our service with the Shema and its blessings, using the words of the Chatzi Kaddish on page 263.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
B'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'b'yomechon u'v'chayei techol beit Yisrael bagala bagala u'vizman kariv v'yimeru amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'le'almei almaya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudisha berichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata na'amiran be'alma ve'immeru amen. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai Havorach. Baruch Adonai Havorach Le'olam va'ed Le'olam va'ed. Yalalai lai lai 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 Yalalai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared?
Please be seated as we read together in the English on page 265. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun and moon and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you, and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Arabim.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amecha ahavta Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Ukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al Ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shuchbeinu Uvkumenu na'asiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratcha U'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki him chayenu Ve'orech yameinu Uvahem nege yomam v'layla Nege yomam v'layla Ve'ahavatcha al tasir Mimenu le'olami Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Ohev Amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha V'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha V'hayu advarim ha'ele Asher anochi mitzavecha yom al levavecha V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'aderech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'ktaftam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם Adonai Elohechem Emed.
We read responsively on page 269. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness eludes our grasp, as imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
We grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learn God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot, Osei pelech. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? When Moses and the children crossed the sea, they sang to you with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Yisrael. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu v'shalom, v'shalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
We turn now in our prayer books to page 272 as we turn to these words from Torah that remind us as we sing them each week that as we keep Shabbat, it will keep us as well and renew our souls.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat V'asot et HaShabbat ledorot haberidom. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat V'asot et HaShabbat ledorot haberidom. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat v'asot et HaShabbat ledorot haberidom. Ki sheshet shamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat v'asot et HaShabbat ledorot haberidom. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. And I just want to say those woos have been entirely unsatisfactory as of now. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat v'asot et HaShabbat ledorot haberidom. Now it's Shabbat.
We turn in our prayer books to page 273 as we rise for the tefillah.
Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai. Adonai sifatai tiftach, ufi yagid ilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. se shalom bimroma se shalom bimroma hu ya'aseh shalom hu ya'aseh shalom hu ya'aseh shalom Hallelujah. 1, 2, 3, 4. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. Roma, oh, say shalom. Be Roma, hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hallelujah. 1, 2, 3, 4. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
Time, I'd like to invite the president of our sisterhood, Janet Mann, to come to the bima to introduce our speakers for this evening.
Shabbat Shalom. I want to thank everyone first for coming and supporting our Sisterhood Pink Shabbat, a very special night to honor those that have battled, are battling, or been touched by breast and ovarian cancer. A very important part of our world, a very important part to be the supporters there. I would like to introduce to you, we're very fortunate to have a local speaker here who is representing Sharsharet. I always say it wrong, Sharsharet. And as I was researching Sharsharet, I realized the meaning in Hebrew is chain, and which I think is beautiful because it's the chain, it's the connection that we are making, connecting those that are battling this, who are battling or are battled, and connecting the supporters together and giving them the resources in the Jewish community. And then we also have another speaker, one of our own CDT members, that will also speak on behalf of her journey with breast cancer. So I would like to go ahead. Oh, I meant one more thing. Sorry. The Oneg tonight, I want to thank everybody that has brought food for the Oneg, and sponsored by the Sisterhood members who brought it. And there's also a lot of resources on the table and items that you can take home with you. So please make sure you leave with the decor. But I would like to go ahead and introduce, I'm very fortunate to introduce Debbie Lesser, who is here in behalf of Sharsharet, and will be speaking on her as a pre-viver and also the resources that Sharsharet has.
Hi, good evening, good Shabbos. Thank you for inviting me to speak tonight. So, as Janet said, I am what's known as a pre-viver, unlike a survivor. I My story is that back in 2013, I did an at-home DNA test. I'm a medical interpreter, and so I happened to get a lecture from a genetic counselor, and I was fascinated. And she said, "Oh, if you like genetics, there's these at-home DNA tests you can do." And I thought, "Cool, I'll do it." So I did one and got my dogs tested, and just for the fun of it. And I got the results back, and it showed that I had a gene mutation that increases my risk of breast cancer. And I thought, well, that's not right, because I don't have breast cancer in my family, so there could be nothing. That's probably nothing. And I ignored it for several months, and then went for a regular mammogram, and I told my doctor about it, and my doctor said, "Oh yeah, that's probably nothing. Those tests are really expensive," and this wasn't an expensive test. It was just an at-home test, so you probably have nothing to worry about. But if you want, I'll send you to a genetic counselor, and you can talk to her about it. And because I'm in the medical field, I thought, oh, I'd love to see how the genetic counselors do these gene mappings, because I might be able to use that at work. So I said, sure, I'll go and meet with the genetic counselor. And she said, "Are you Jewish?" And I said, well, my DNA test results showed that I'm 99.8% Ashkenazi Jewish descent, so very much so. And my grandfather, she said, "You have cancer in your family?" And I said, well, my grandfather in his 70s passed away from pancreatic cancer. And she said, those are two red flags together that make me want you to get tested again. So we tested that one mutation again, and sure enough, I have BRCA1. So I did a lot of research, got involved with Cher Charette, and as well as a couple of other organizations, and decided that based on my risk, my risk being BRCA1 positive is that I have an 87% chance of developing breast cancer in my lifetime and a 45% chance of developing ovarian cancer in my lifetime. So I decided to go get a hysterectomy, take them out. I'm done having children, so let's get rid of those. So I did that, and decided at the time not to get a mastectomy. And then about 2 years later, after going for every 6 months a mammogram, and then a mammogram and an ultrasound, and then an MRI every 6 months. After 2 years, I thought, oh, this is exhausting. I'll go ahead and get a mastectomy. So I did. And since then, I have 5 sisters, and out of the 5 sisters, 1 is for sure negative, doesn't have the gene mutation, 2 do, and 2 have decided they don't want to talk about it at all. So I don't know about those 2. And then I have 2 daughters. Many of you know I have 2 daughters, and both of them also tested positive for the gene mutation. So this has been a lifesaver to know that that I'm lucky enough. If you could prevent yourself from getting cancer, would you? And a lot of people, wouldn't have necessarily gone to the extent that I did, but everybody, has their own journey. But organizations like Cher Charette can really help get, especially Jewish women, get us through this. There are definitely other organizations that support us, breast cancer and ovarian cancer awareness, but Cher Charette is dedicated to Jewish women. And one reason I'm so passionate about this is because in the Jewish population, we are 10 times more likely to carry a genetic mutation for breast and ovarian cancer. And Cher Charette helps walk us through that, helps us understand from a Jewish perspective how we can be proactive in taking care of ourselves. The other things that I've learned from Cher Charette is that men can also develop breast cancer. I didn't know that. And Jewish men and women have an elevated risk of lots of types of hereditary cancers, not just BRCA1 and BRCA2. And of BRCA1 and BRCA2, there are several different kinds of mutations. There are several variations of those mutations. But there's also CHEK, PALB. There's so many others that are being discovered now with genetic research. So Cher Charette facilitates education. It provides support not only for the women and families that are going through this, but also for rabbis, chaplains, Jewish professionals, mikveh attendants, It raises awareness in Jewish communities in so many different ways. So I want to leave you with know your family history, super important. Eat well, be proactive, be active, physically active, take good care of yourselves, and continue to support each other in this tight-knit Jewish community. And Share Sharet, if you have any questions about Share Sharet or you'd like more information, I'm pretty sure that Janet has some information out, as she said, and you can always give me a call. Thank you.
Yes, there is a lot of papers and pamphlets. The website, as I have researched and looked into it, there's tons of webinars that they have, a lot of different resources that Share Sharet has. So please use that resource. It's there for you. Before I introduce our next speaker, I wanted just to say there's a new project that one of our congregants, Landy Gonzalez, shared with me, and it's really exciting. It's called the Pink Eraser Project. It's something that is brand new. The website was just established January 2024 with the potential of getting a vaccine to eradicate certain types of breast cancer to market within like the next 5 to 10 years. So there's a little information. It's very brand new, but also there's some resources about that too. So I wanted to share. But we have our very own amazing, beautiful Stacy Jahanfar that would like to share her story with her battle with breast cancer.
Good Shabbos. I had to do stickies because I'm on a time limit. So my journey started April 23rd, 2012, spring break, siesta key, with my kids, putting on my bathing suit, and bam, I feel something weird. I tell my mom, she's just like, anything weird, ask the doctor. So don't say anything, immediately come home, go to the doctor, immediately diagnosed with breast cancer. At the time, I didn't think about me. I thought about my kids, I thought about my family. So my biggest thing was, let's get rid of it, let's get it out, and let me ease my kids' minds. Ilana was 8 at the time, Ari was 11, and that was April 23rd. May 23rd, I was in the hospital getting a bilateral mastectomy. I was a teacher at the time, so what better time than summer break to get it all together. Had the talk with my kids right before I went into the hospital. As my doctor said, Stacy, you're so healthy, you just have a little bit of cancer. So I took that mantra and took it to my kids. And at the time, being 8 and 11, it worked perfectly. Now, looking at my kids, they wanted to know more at a different time. However, the path was set. My mom came for 2 months. I took care of myself. She took care of my family, which was complete chaos. Burned down the house, wrecked my refrigerator. It was a crazy scenario in my house for 2 months, but long story short, I beat cancer. It's been 12 years. And everyone in today's world, thank goodness, has choices. And I had a mammogram 4 months before I found it, and it was negative. So you have to know you have to know your body, you have to check yourself. Otherwise, they could have gone on and on and on and on. I took the bull by the horns, and I went very aggressive and got a bilateral mastectomy. Not everybody chooses to be that aggressive. I needed peace of mind, and that's what gave me peace of mind. However, anyone else diagnosed with this gets to choose, and that's the wonderful thing, that you have that choice. I can be really, really hard and gray, white and black. I don't have a lot of gray with me. So I cried one time, and I'm sharing this because everybody has their outlet to let it all go. My outlet was Adele's song, Chasing Pavements. So it's funny because everyone's, how much did you cry? When did you tell your kids? How did you deal? And depending on where your strengths are given, I chose to protect my kids. So here I am 12 years later with Chasing Pavements as my theme, which is amazing if anyone needs a good, feel-good song. That's what got me through it. I would like to just choose 3 words for breast cancer. You get your strength from talking. Because at one point in time, I thought I was alone, and I said it to one person, and then 20 people had it, and 15 people had it, and you become this group of people instead of an individual. Number 2 is the knowledge, because you have choices, which gives you the knowledge. And number 3 is the support. People who are givers have to learn to receive for the very first time. That's my story, and thank you for listening.
In just a few days, next week, we are about to enter into the book of Leviticus in our annual Torah cycle reading. And Leviticus, for those of you who have looked into it, you'll know it is a series of mitzvot. It's basically the next 4 months of mitzvah after mitzvah after mitzvah, many of them very deep, many of them very, very mundane, many of which revolving around the temple worship practice we don't follow anymore. But when we look at Leviticus, when we look at really the Torah as a whole, we see all of the mitzvot. We see the commandments that were given by God of how to live our lives. And there's a teaching that they're all on equal footing. Even the 10 commandments are equal to the other 603 in the Torah, all but one. The mitzvah that supersedes all others is the mitzvah of pikuach nefesh, to save a life. And doing what we did tonight, speaking about breast cancer, speaking about prevention and awareness and treatment, helps save lives. Talking to one another, supporting one another, saves lives. Donating to cancer research, walking for awareness, wearing pink, helps save lives. At the end of this week's Torah reading, we finish the book of Exodus. And at the end of each book, we say the words, Chazak, Chazak, V'nit Chazek. Be strong, let us strengthen one another. And so we say to one another, on this Shabbat where we finish Pikudei, where we finish the book of Shemot, and where we acknowledge and recognize the battle against cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and other types of cancers. We say to each other, Chazak, Chazak, V'nit Chazek, be strong, and let us strengthen one another. With our hearts opened by all of these words of Torah, the words of our speakers and the words of the Torah itself, we take a moment as we think of members of our community who are ill. Some are in the hospital, some are at home recovering. Some have diseases and illnesses from which they may never recover. This week, we think especially of Melinda Morrill, Aaron Withers, Sarah Dean, Peggy Heinley, Irene Duke, Lauren Kernis, Byron Katz, Michelle Mandel, Stan Katz, Jan Delavsky, Joe Radowski, Ethel Rubenstein, Arlene Silver, Sarah Bat Avraham Visara, Dan Israev, Aaron August, Elizabeth Del Valle, Susie Futterman, Anne Marie Ross, Stephen Perel, Sheila Fagis, Adrian Traeger, Gloria Foreman, Diane Silverstein, Susan Rachel Stockow, Stacy Ford, Sandra Slovin, Marsha Heisler, Harriet Jacobs, Catalina Del Tette, Gary Swartz, Tom Bradford, Janelle Nichols, Robert Cohen, Brianna Jacobs, David Sankey, Stanley Bissell, Richard Jacobs, Brooke Jacobs, Carolyn Eisenhart, Larry Futterman, Gary Paul, Brian Berger, Chandler Jacobs, Yael Bat David Valea, Ellen Friedman, Jill Vantine, Eleanor Goodman, Libby Routman, Marjorie Whitmore, Jerry Phillips, Paul Kershon, Reva Fisher, Leslie Knight, Bert Singerman, Mateo Velasquez, Max Jacobs, Kathy Waldner, and Christopher Denton. If you are thinking of someone who is in need of a prayer of healing, I invite you to share their name with the community as my eyes meet yours, or if you're joining us online this evening, to add their name at this time to the chat. We think of all we have named, that we hold in our hearts. We also ask God to watch over victims of violence around the world. May they be blessed with healing, hope, and love. We ask God to watch over those who care for the sick each day. May their hands and their hearts be blessed with love, compassion, wisdom, support. And on this Sisterhood Shabbat, we ask God to watch over those around creation who are currently battling breast, ovarian, and other types of cancers. We think of all of them and ask for God's healing presence to be with all that we hold in our hearts, all in our immediate and broader circles, as well as all of us, as we sing this prayer of healing on page 371.
Mishabera avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We turn now to page 552. We rise and offer a prayer for the state of Israel. Avinu Shabashamayim, Tor Yisrael v'goralo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael Reshit Smichat Gulatenu, Again Aleha bevrat chastecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha ve'amitcha l'rosheha, Tareha v'yoatzeha, V'tachnes be'atzei tova milfanecha, V'natata shalom ba'aretz, Simchat olam liyoshveha v'nomar, Amen. Together, O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
O Lord, balev al benima, nefesh Yehudi homiyah. Shamayim Letzion Tzofia. O lo avda tikvatenu, atikva bat shnot alpayim, liotam chofshi be'artzenu, Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim, liotam chofshi be'artzenu, Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim.
We remain standing as we turn to page 586 for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, latet gedula liotze bereshit, shehu noteh shamayim v'yosed haaretz u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim imal. Ushchinat uzo begove meromim u'Eloheinu enod. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz. Bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled. It burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades. Its substance is consumed and it is no more. In light we see. In light we are seen. The flames dance and our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen, yet we do not despair. For we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. We remember them. We meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. At this sacred moment of our Shabbat evening worship, we think longingly and lovingly of those taken from us both recently and at this season in years past. We are in a period of Shiva, the first 7 days since his funeral of Kori ben Hananiah. We are in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days since their passing of Herbert Allen Mendel, Lee Silverstein, Joyce Ostro-Sillins, and Joyce Griffey. And we mark the yahrzeit, the anniversary of their passing on this Shabbat. Shirley Bilski, Steve Austin, Bessie Baum, Penny Cohen, Sylvia Fleischer, Bernard Kalman Friedman, Rose Godley, Dorothy Grabowski, Bernard Hoffman, Esther Kerbel, Ida Kerbel, Helen Kreppisman, Pam Poplar-Tolk, William Rosevier, Irving Shapiro, Anita Siegel, and Charles Bagelson. If you are remembering someone on this Shabbat, I invite you to share their name with the community as my eyes meet yours, or if you're joining us online, to add their name at this time to the chat. Zichronam livracha. May all of their memories continue to be a blessing. And may we take all of their memories into our hearts, along with the memories of the millions of our people who have no one to say Kaddish for them. As we turn in our prayer books to page 598, rising as one community for the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Bagalau bisman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach leolam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudisha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Ushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran me'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba mishemaya. V'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Uyaseh shalom. Alenu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Amen. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all the bereaved here and everywhere with the blessing of peace. Together we all say, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'imromav. Uyaseh shalom. Alenu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'yimeru. Amen.
Our closing song this evening can be found on page 625. Please join us in singing Adon Olam.
Adon Olam.
Adon Olam.
Asher malach.
Asher malach.
B'terem kol yitinira le'ein nasa. B'chepsev kol. Azay melech shimoni fra Adon Olam. Bi'acharei kiklot hakol. Leba'ado yimlok nara Adon Olam. Behu haya, behu hove, behu yeh b'tifara Adon Olam, Adon Olam. Asher malach, b'terem kol yitzirira li'ein nasa, b'chepso kol azay melech shimoni kra Adon Olam. Behu echad li'ein sheni le'am shilo le'achmira Adon Olam. B'li reishi, b'li tachlit, below ha'oz v'ha'mishra Adon Olam, Adon Olam. Asher malach, b'terem kol yitzirira li'ein nasa, b'chepso kol azay melech shimoni kra Adon Olam. Behu eli, b'chai go'ali, b'tzorchev li b'eitzara Adon Olam. Behu nisi umanosli, menachkosi b'yom v'kra Adon Olam, Adon Olam. Asher malach, b'terem kol yitzirira li'ein nasa, b'chepsav kol azay melech shimoni kra Adon Olam. Bi'ado afkid ruchi, be'edi shan bi'ayira Adon Olam. Be'yim ruchi geviati, Adon eli v'lo ira Adon Olam, Adon Olam. Asher malach, b'terem kol yitzirira li'ein nasa, b'chepsav kol azay melech shimoni kra Adon Olam.
Please be seated. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbos.
It was wonderful being with all of you here on this Shabbat. Just a few brief announcements before we conclude our service, and then gather together for an Oneg Shabbat in the social hall, sponsored by our sisterhood and with the food provided by them as well. So we thank you for sponsoring our Oneg Shabbat tonight. This Sunday morning, we have religious school beginning at 9 o'clock for our pre-K through 8th grade classes. And then at 9:15, for all the moms, regardless of if you have religious school students or not, there is a mom-to-mom breakfast at another Broken Egg Cafe on 141. If you have questions about it, you can ask Janet at the Oneg Shabbat. On Monday, the 18th, we have Mahjong at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. On Tuesday, we have our knitting and crochet group at 1, and also Mahjong at 7 p.m. Wednesday at 11 o'clock, you can come join in with the book of 2 Samuel as we continue studying verse by verse, exploring how David became the king of Israel. We're having great conversations each week, so I invite you to join us at any point. Even if you've never opened a Tanakh before, it's always a great week to jump in and start learning with us. And then you can stay at noon for the Sandwich Project to help feed the hungry in the kitchen. On Thursday, we have Mahjong both at 10 o'clock and at 7 p.m. So if you really want to play Mahjong, you have multiple opportunities on Thursday. Next Friday night is our 8th and 9th grade Shabbat dinner, followed by our Kabbalat Shabbat service at 7:30 p.m. And then next Saturday evening, come join us in the Wild West. So the funny thing is, I used to live and work in Fort Worth, Texas, and it took me having a Purim Wild West to own a cowboy hat and boots. So come join us next Saturday evening for our Wild West Purim Spiel and Casino Party. Monday is the deadline to RSVP. We hope to see you there. It's going to be a really fun night. The event is free. There is a small charge if you want to play the casino games or have some cocktails, but the Purim Spiel and dinner are free. We just need to know you're coming so we can plan accordingly. And you can also take this week to participate in our spring fundraiser, our grid, which is connected to our Purim Spiel, and we'll be drawing our grand prize winners from that next Saturday evening. So we hope to see you Saturday night next week, and then we'll continue celebrating Purim on Monday, or Sunday, excuse me. The hats are doing things.
It's too tight.
On Sunday, during religious school, class will begin at normal at 9 o'clock, but our Purim Carnival will begin at 10:30 with a big Shirah song session here in the sanctuary, followed by the carnival, led by our 7th and 8th grade students and our madrichim. So we hope that all of you, but especially those of you with young children, will join us for that next Sunday, beginning at 10:30 in the morning. And at the same time, you have an opportunity to do a phenomenal mitzvah, the one I talked about already tonight, saving a life, because we are having a blood drive next Sunday also during the Purim Carnival. If you have questions about that, you can talk to our social action chair, Paula Bloom, at the Oneg Shabbat. All right, I got to take this off for now.
So is that give blood, get a hamatashen?
Exactly.
Okay.
Each week, we like to thank those who have gone above and beyond and done a lot for our community. And this week, I want to thank Janet Mann and the members of our sisterhood leadership who put together such a wonderful evening tonight. Thank you to Debbie and Stacy for sharing your stories this evening and really inspiring us to learn more about this really important issue and to make sure all of us are talking about it and being aware of our own health and our own situations and those of members of our family and friends. So thank you all. It is the third Shabbos of the month, which means it's anniversary Shabbat. So if you are celebrating a March anniversary, I'm going to invite you to please rise. So as I come around, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves to the community, who you are, what day your anniversary is, and how many years we're celebrating this year. So I'll start here. Mazel tov. Yep. Mazel tov.
Semen tov, mazel tov, semen tov, mazel tov, semen tov, mazel tov, semen tov, yehei lanu, yehei lanu, yehei lanu, ulecho Yisrael, yehei lanu, ulecho Yisrael, yehei lanu, ulecho Yisrael, yehei lanu, ulecho Yisrael.
We are going to conclude our service with Kiddush and Motzi and a closing benediction. So I'm going to ask everyone to please turn in their prayer books to page 123 and rise. I think some of our young people have come back into the sanctuary, so I'm going to invite any of our young people who have not yet celebrated becoming Bar Bat Mitzvah to join Mike and I on the Bima to help with Kiddush. And we are going to sanctify this moment together with our symbol of joy, the fruit of the vine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu Shabbat kodsho v'yava uvratzon inchilanu. Zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom tehila l'mikra kodesh. Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta. Mikol hamim. Shabbat kodshecha b'yava uveratzon inchalatanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. L'chaim.
We uncover now the challah as we sing together.
Amotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Amotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Just take from here.
That is the pinkest challah I've ever seen. While they're having the first piece of challah on behalf of all of us, we ask for God's blessing. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you safe. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the light of God's smiling face shine upon you and be kind and loving to you. Yisad Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you always be blessed with the most precious of all gifts, the gifts of shalom, of health and happiness, of joy and peace. Together we all say,
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Good Shabbos.